Good evening, everyone. My name is Jiza Page, and I would like to welcome you to the 2016 General Fund Budget Briefing for the Education Committee. The purpose of this hearing is for the Education Department to go over its 2016 proposed operating budget and to give the council as well as the rest of the city an idea of their plans and what they would like to do for the upcoming year. And I would like to thank Director Johnson for attending today and for her other staff. I saw Hosanna Techie here. I know also Deputy Director Matthew Smidle as well as Sierra Adams for your efforts and what you've done in 2015. And I look forward to 2016. And I will now hand the briefing over to you. I probably won't talk too much because I'm losing my voice, but I just want to let everyone know that's why. So thank you, Director Johnson.
Thank you, Chair Page. Thank you so much for this opportunity to present our proposed 2016 budget for the Department of Education. Our total proposed appropriation is $6,307,329. This represents an increase of $161,932, or 2.6% from our 2015 budget. The majority of this funding, $4,731,325, is designated for our pre-K expansion program, Early Start Columbus. Through Early Start Columbus, the city provides direct support to high-quality pre-K providers. Through Early Start Columbus, we have worked collaboratively with the state of Ohio, Columbus City Schools, and a network of community-based providers to serve more than 1,000 Columbus kids in more than 60 different locations over the last 2 years. For those who are listening this evening and have 4-year-olds who need to enroll in pre-kindergarten, please call Action for Children at 614-224-0222 or visit actionforchildren.org. The proposed amount for pre-K education is unchanged from last year and represents 75% of our overall budget. $700,000 of our budget will be used to support Future Ready Columbus. The creation of a public-private partnership to support education in Columbus was one of the 55 recommendations made by the Columbus Education Commission. Future Ready Columbus has already begun to make a collective impact on education in Columbus, focusing on early childhood education, community engagement in public policy, advocacy, and leadership. The department's after-school grant program appropriation is $354,000. This will allow us to serve 2,200 Columbus kids in high-quality programs for the upcoming year. This amount also remains unchanged from last year. And lastly, $508,912 will support the administration of our department. As you can see, we are small and lean, but we have an aggressive goal and an important responsibility. I thank you for allowing me to present our budget to you, and I look forward to any questions you may have.
Thank you, Director Johnson. I just have a few. How big is your staff?
My staff right now is 4 full-time and 1/2 part-time,
Yes.
4.5. About
Small but mighty.
Small but mighty, yes.
And 75% of your budget, as you talked, is about for the pre-K funding. And I know we had a hearing earlier on in the year that talked about just the grant process. And could you just summarize that very quickly, just so to refresh people on how that kind of works?
We had what I think is a great application process. First of all, we require that our providers be 3, 4, or 5-star rated programs under what we call Step Up to Quality. That's the state quality rating. We make sure that our programs meet the pre-K standards from the Ohio Department of Education. What we do in our programs is we're able to subsidize families who probably make too much or who make too much to get workforce development grants, or they make too much to get TANF dollars or other kinds of workforce dollars, but they don't make enough to pay for high-quality pre-K. So we serve families that range from 0 to 300% of the federal poverty level. So we help with what they call that cliff effect, that parents don't make enough to pay for pre-K but make too much to get subsidized child care. So with that, we've also partnered with the Ohio Department of Education, where they pay for half-day pre-K programs, and the city provides the other part of the day so that our kids could be in full-day kindergarten. We think that full-day pre-kindergarten, we think that's best for our kids to be in pre-K for a full day.
Thank you so much, Director, for explaining that. And just thank you and your department for the work that you do, particularly with the pre-K education. I know that the current administration, as well as Mayor-elect Ginther and the council, is very supportive of making sure we're providing a quality education for our 4-year-olds and getting them off to a good start. And just thank you for how you've handled the grant process, how you've handled the millions of dollars, and just keeping always focused on our young people. So thank you. I now want to move on to our speakers. We have 6 speakers who have filled out speaker slips this evening. When I call your name, you can come up to the podium and give your brief testimony. And we're going to start with Brondavian Haynes. He is a 6th grader from Hamilton Elementary School. He is accompanied by his principal, Dr. Christopher Brady, who's here with us, his teachers, Ms. Quatman and Ms. Burke, Sandy Donald, Executive Director of Teaching and Learning, and his mother, Miss Tammy Jones, and I think he may have 2 brothers who are here as well. Well, make sure you tell us their names too.
One name is Quadaris and one name is Bryson.
Thank you, and you can go ahead and give your testimony.
Okay. Good evening, council members, Paige, council members, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank you for this opportunity to address you all this evening. My name is Brondavian Haynes. I began my elementary experiences in pre-K, and I am currently a 6th grade student at Hamilton STEM Academy at Columbus City Schools. I have been very fortunate to remain at Hamilton for all of my educational career. It's hard to believe I have spent almost 8 years of my life attending the same school. But attending Hamilton, I have been provided many opportunities and experiences. My first experiences was starting the pre-K program. My teacher was Miss Streeter. I loved having her as a teacher because she made me feel great. She was my favorite teacher. Pre-K taught me a great deal of things like the foundations of math and reading, such as 2 + 2 = 4 and my ABCs. She also taught me how to write my letters so I could have a strong writing skills. These skills were very important to me and helped me become a more productive student and citizen in the years to come. Over the years, I have had so many experiences at Hamilton. I would like to share a few with you now. One of my favorite experiences was a field trip to the circus in pre-K. I enjoyed this because it was fun and I was with my friends. At the circus, I learned about elephants and clowns. Can you believe I still catch clowns to this day? One of the most rewarding educational experiences I had at Hamilton was working with Dr. Brady as my DI reading teacher. But sometimes he even helped me with my math. These experiences taught me how to read, write, and independently complete my workbook and class assignments. One of the most memorable experiences I had at Hamilton was when Dr. Brady first became my principal. He went around and shook each one of our hands. I am sure I will remember this for years to come because it showed me he believed in us and helped me with my education. Now, I can talk about my experiences at Hamilton without mentioning my teachers such as Ms. Quatman, Ms. Kirk, Ms. Streeter, and Ms. Burke. These teachers pushed me to my limits, making me a greater student and helping me realize my future potential. The teachers at Hamilton are awesome and intelligent. Over the years, they have made me feel cared for and loved as if I was their very own child. While many of my classmates over the years have moved and attended different schools, I have been privileged to remain in the same school where I have been provided consistency and stability, both of which are important to receiving a successful education. I hope that other children who are ready to enroll into a pre-K program are provided the same educational opportunities and experiences that I have received over the years. Thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. God bless.
Sorry, I have a few questions for you. And first of all, you did an amazing job. I am so proud of you. You are an exceptional young man, and keep up the good work. You did very well speaking and, reading and doing this in front of an audience and on camera. One day you'll have this seat right here, right?
Thank you.
So what's your favorite subject in school?
Math.
Very good. And you have a 4-year-old brother, right? Mm-hmm. And can you tell us why you think it's important that we have pre-K for your little brother?
Because it helped me read, write, and understand schoolwork and stuff.
Awesome, that's very good. And do you help your little brother with his schoolwork?
Yes.
Awesome, that's what we like to hear. Well, thank you so much. Again, you did an amazing job. You are a great young man. And, thank you so much to Principal Brady and your teachers for their support, and to your mom and your brothers for coming today. And thanks again, really appreciate it.
Thank you, too. Bye.
Our next speaker is Dr. Gina Ginn, the Executive Director from Columbus Early Learning Center. Welcome, Gina, and thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Page and distinguished guests, thank you for your time this evening. My name is Dr. Gina Ginn, and I'm the Executive Director for Columbus Early Learning Centers. For those of you that are not familiar with CELC, we were founded in 1887 here in Columbus with the goal to help Central Ohio's working families and those families that may fall into the gap when it comes to resources available to them for support and child care services. We've stayed true to that mission still today, and the Early Start Columbus monies help us to fulfill our mission each and every day. Our spaces for the Early Start Columbus program are located at the Champion Intergenerational Center, which just opened officially last week, although our students have been attending in that building for about 2 years. For that, we are eternally grateful for this grant and want to urge City Council and the mayor and the mayor-elect and all of the council members to please fund Director Johnson's program and her budget as requested. Our Early Start Columbus funding gives us the opportunity to support students in a different way than maybe if we were relying on other funding sources. One, it allows us to accommodate the true costs associated with running a pre-kindergarten classroom. As a 4-star center, we receive around $12,000 per child per year, whereas a child that attends our center who is supported through the publicly funded child care subsidy receives around $8,000 in funding per year. This additional funding for those classrooms allows us to do many different things that we otherwise wouldn't be able to do because it would be cost prohibitive. Research shows that about 80% of our families, or we know through our research, 80% of our families live at or below 200% of the poverty level. Research shows that these families are more, the children that come from these families are more likely to exhibit behavioral issues in the classroom. We observe that about 15 to 20% of our children in each classroom exhibit behavioral challenges as a way of coping with the chronic stress that they are dealing with at home. So these dollars have allowed us to provide 3 teachers in each classroom, which is about a 4-to-1 ratio for our students. In addition, these dollars, in conjunction with other funding we receive from the city, help us to provide multiple tiers of health screenings that give us the opportunity for early intervention if a child is not developing at or above their age level. Our goal is that every child is performing above their age level when they graduate from CELC and on to kindergarten. We want our children to be successful in class and in life once they leave the doors of CELC. I had arranged for two of our parents to be here to join us tonight, but one works for the public schools and one works for the Department of Health, and as they kind of near break, things got a little crazy, so they had to cancel, but were able to send me some of their words to just let you know how grateful they are for the funding. LaShonda, Zachariah's mom, wrote, "We are thankful to be able to receive funding for our child. The funding helps out tremendously, especially while you're dealing with financial hardships. Since my family has become recipients upon enrolling our son in CELC, we have seen growth and development in our son's reading comprehension and many other skills." In addition, Erica White wrote, "My daughter and I have been with Columbus Early Learning Center since August of 2011. This will be her final year with them as she is heading to kindergarten in the fall. This year has been the most difficult for us financially as my mother was diagnosed with cancer, had to retire, and has mounting medical bills that Social Security does not cover. Qualifying for the Early Start Columbus grant has taken our daycare tuition from $540 per month to $30 per month. The Early Start Columbus grant has assured us that we can not only stay in one of the best early learning programs in the city with friends and teachers we know and love, but that I can also help my mother receive her continuum of care from the doctors she trusts. My heart and soul is with CELC because they care about their clients 110%, and applying the Early Start Columbus grant to my family is just one way of showing that. Thank you for this opportunity to represent CELC and the Early Start Columbus funding that we receive. The Early Start Columbus funding has had an incredibly positive impact on our organization and the families and children that we serve. We would not be able to serve the children in the capacity in which we are able to without this help. So happy holidays to you and your family, and to everyone in the room, from all of us at CELC, our staff, and our children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gann, and thank you to the parents, too, for their words. And I just have a couple of questions for you. Briefly, how many slots have you been able to support at your center because of the funding from the city?
We have 14 slots.
Great. And do most of your students, once they graduate, are they going to Columbus City Schools?
Yes.
Okay, great. Those are the only questions I have, and thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you.
We would now have our next speaker, Katrina Hacker, the YMCA Preschool Director. Thank you for joining us this evening, Katrina, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, Councilmember Page and other members of council. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Katrina Hacker. I am the Director of Early Education for the Hilltop YMCA. I'm here this evening to speak in support of Mayor Coleman's Early Start Columbus Pre-K initiative and to support his efforts and the new mayor-elect efforts to ensure that every 4-year-old in Columbus is kindergarten ready. At the YMCA, we're for healthy living, youth development, and social responsibility. The YMCA is the largest provider of childcare and early education in Central Ohio. We serve over 3,000 children and youth each day in our centers and programs. We understand the value of quality, early childhood education, and the positive effects it has on school success. This past year, funding from the city for the ESC Pre-K initiative has allowed us to prepare over 50 new Columbus preschoolers for kindergarten. In addition, the funds help to support hardworking families who want quality school readiness programming for their children but cannot afford it. The Early Start Columbus funding is critical for our community. Investing in early education is a smart investment. Data shows that it reduces crime, lowers the need for special education services, leads to healthier lifestyle, and increases kindergarten entry scores. In our current classrooms, we have 1 child who was referred for speech services, 6 who are in need of glasses, 2 children referred for hearing, and 4 children referred to the district for further evaluation. This screening would have gone undetected had we not done the early health screenings. Because of this early detection, our children will have the start that they need. We know that kids who enter school behind usually remain behind. The school district alone does not have the resources necessary to provide quality pre-K services to all 4-year-olds in the district. To reach the largest number of children possible, a community effort is needed with school districts partnering with the existing high-quality pre-K program providers in their neighborhoods. These programs participate in the Ohio's Step Up to Quality initiative, which requires teachers to use proven curriculum and assessment practices to ensure individual child outcomes. There is greater capacity in highly rated programs today, and they are eager to collaborate for the benefit of the children and families. This is why I ask that you support the vital funding necessary to provide quality early education to ensure that our Columbus children are kindergarten ready. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katrina. And just a quick question for you.
Sure.
How many slots through the YMCA is funded or supported by the city dollars?
We currently have 54 children enrolled.
And is that at various YMCAs across the city?
That's correct. We have it currently at 6 different locations.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your testimony
Thank
tonight
you.
and in support of the Education Department. Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe our next two speakers are coming up together. We have Carol and Chandra from Creative Childcare. Thank you for coming this evening. Come to the podium. Did I pronounce that correctly? Is it Chandra or Chandra? Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chandra Dital. I am from Creative Child Care Center North. I am extremely glad today to share a little bit about the education system that our Nepali community people had practiced in Nepal in the past and here in USA. Now let me talk about the education system being practiced in Nepal in the refugee camps. The entire education system were rendered and regulated by an organization called Caritas. The starting of education in the refugee camp in Nepal was in kindergarten at the age of 5 years. The gross motor, fine motor skills were not much introduced in the kindergarten level. The cognitive development of the children were gradually enhanced through introducing practical learning procedures. Free educations were provided up to the high school. The teachers were trained by the experts personnels in different areas such as to provide proper directions, growth, and all-round development of the children. The children used to learn different subjects. Unfortunately, the computer skills were not technically available to the students due to the scarcity of electricity supply. So, the students are quite lacking behind in computer knowledge. Now, here in Ohio, our children are very much glad and excited to have the updated, well-managed, systematic, well-organized, and innovative education systems. The children of our Nepali community are gradually developing the familiarism with the system of education being provided by Ohio Department of Education. The technical introduction of gross motor, fine motor learning really helps their tender minds to grow their skills. Our children find making friends among peer groups is one of the introductory parts of the education in the child care. In addition to this, our Nepali children find friendly and homely environment at our center. Our Nepali community children are dual language learners. They speak Nepali and English at child care and at home as well. Our Nepali children are very curious and enthusiastic enough to learn, play and sing rhymes, and enjoy fun at the child care center. I am indeed very glad to educate the children in a friendly manner, make fun with them. I would like to thank the state of Ohio, Ohio Department of Education, and all the concerned authorities for introducing and providing such good programs so that our children are immensely benefited and greatly appreciated. I would like to thank and appreciate Mr. Todd, the manager of Creative Childcare Center North, Miss Sunny, Angela, and all my dear colleagues for your kind support, great role that you've performed for the growth and all-round development of our children. Thank you, and you have a wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, yes, Carol, you can go ahead.
Good evening. I co-teach with Ms. Chandra. Where are you going, Ms. Chandra? We have a classroom of 18 students. They're all Nepali students. So it's fun to be around. The energy is high, and I teach in English. And what the children do not understand, Ms. Chandra comes in and clarifies it in Nepali. So the children are being taught in English and in their home language, which is a wonderful experience. And with the Early Start funding, it has allowed for dentists to come in to help our children, because the dental hygiene thing, it hasn't, they come in needing dental care, and it hasn't been accessible to them. But with the funding, they come into our school, and our teachers are allowed to take them to the dentist, hold their hands, and watch them get their teeth taken care of. It puts a smile on my face, because when you go into a dentist's office, it's scary. But with the funding, we can be there with our children and let them know it is okay. This is just one of our community helpers that we talk about during classroom. And then they also get the vision screenings. Again, it's not so scary when you have a teacher or a director there beside you to experience a screening for the first time. So thank you for the funding for our classroom. And also with the funding, we have a beautiful classroom. The funding allows for us to have all kind of educational tools. The kids call them toys. The educators call them tools. And a lot of children may not have toys or anything at home. So they walk into the building and they are in awe, because there's a dramatic play area. There are books to read. There are counting materials there, all because of your funding. And for 6 hours, they think they're playing, but they are learning. Not just learning, they are obtaining a foundation for the love of learning. And when a child has a love of learning, they have no issue with waking up and going to school every day and staying in the classroom for 6 hours a day. And because we have dual language learners, we teach a little different. We can't just read a book. We have to take the words off the page. And this week we were talking about Mouse was mad. Mouse was mad, he was hopping mad, so we hop around. He was bear stomping mad, so we're bear stomping mad. We're stomping, we're rolling around like a hedgehog. We look insane, but we are learning how to stop, how to row, and how to control our emotions. But this is what the grant has allowed us to do, to be there, to build a foundation for our children, to make learning fun. And last year we had 14 graduates from the ODE program. This year, from our room, there's 18 graduates, but total there will be 27 ODE graduates, 4-year-olds that's more than ready for kindergarten. They know their ABCs. They know how to count to 100. They can name them under presidents on the dollars if you ask them. Our last group could. And it's all because you guys made it possible with the grant money. Keep the grant money coming. Keep showing the children that it's okay to dream, because we want them to dream big. And they only can dream if we give them everything, all the tools that they need, the dramatic play, the books, the counting tools. Just continue the funding. Allow the children to continue to dream, because you're giving them Christmas every day for 6 hours a day. You're giving them Christmas every day, and the parents appreciate it. We have 100% parent-teacher conference participation every time. We won't even talk about classroom parties, because we have a whole supermarket by the end. Parents come and dropping food off. but the class would not be there if it was not for the funding. So continue helping 4-year-olds to dream. So everybody in this building can continue laying the foundation for the love of learning. And as teachers, we love to teach. So continue helping us dream big and allowing the children to have beautiful classrooms, technology that was not there in their country, electricity. We take it for granted, but not our children. Everything they experience in our classroom is big. So we try to do it big. And thank you. And we appreciate it. And we had testimonials from our prior students. I'm just going to read a couple of them. This is one from our young lady. Her parent says, "We feel lucky and glad to have our child in this center. We are proud that you gave us a good care in cooperation for the baby to grow up for kindergarten. We thank you, all the team, for coming together for our baby. And you helped them grow up and up." And the last testimony we had from a young man: "When my child started going to creative childcare, he knew very little. He didn't know how to read nor write, but he knew how to live with his family, friends, and relatives. Now he knows how to read, he knows how to write. He knows his colors and his shapes and his numbers. Thank you, Creative Childcare. I am so appreciative of Creative Childcare. My child now know how to speak and write in English." Imagine, child didn't know how to write in English, didn't know how to speak English, but 1 year, by the end of 1 year, the children know how to write in English and they know how to speak.
Well, thank you so much, Carol and Chandra. You both provided a very compelling testimony in support of the funding that the city, as well with in partnership with the states, provide. And thank you particularly for the work that you're doing in the Nepali community. I'm very familiar with some of the issues that they face when they come here, to America, come to Columbus, Ohio. It's a different place. And to ease them in that transition, to help their children get ready for kindergarten is absolutely amazing. And I think it's so cool that you also have someone who speaks their native language there. That is, I'll just say it's cool. I don't know if it's cool for a council person to say cool, but it's cool. So thank you both so much. I mean, that was amazing testimony, just the work that you're doing. I can just feel the passion through your words, and please continue to work. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Rebecca Asmo from the Boys and Girls Club. Is Rebecca here? No. Well, we will go to our final speaker this evening, Ms. Stephanie Baker from the Clintonville Community Center. Welcome, Stephanie, and thank you for coming.
Good evening, Councilmember Page. I'm Stephanie Baker, Associate Director at the Clintonville Beachwell Community Resources Center, also known as CRC. CRC is a settlement house serving the Clintonville Beachwell neighborhood and is a member of the Columbus Federation of Settlements. The CRC Kids Club after-school program serves 120 youth. The youth primarily come from Clinton Elementary School, Indian Springs Elementary School, and Indianola K through 8. The youth come from 14 different zip codes, and all of the youth are in kindergarten through 5th grade. Our after-school program serves the whole child. Some of the activities include snack, homework time, art with Greater Columbus Arts Council, fine and gross motor skills, work with a licensed reading specialist, the YES program through Columbus Public Health, the CATCH program, guest speakers, and if a child needs additional support or the family needs additional support, they are linked with additional CRC services, including our food pantry, our family services program, and our kinship care program. There's a huge need for continuing and increased funding in after-school programs in the Clintonville Beachwell neighborhood. When I started at CRC, the after-school program housed 60 children. 3 years ago, this program expanded to add a second location with an additional 30 children. Despite this additional new site, the program continued to run with a wait list of 30-plus families needing after-school program. Because of this need, we've had to open a third site with an additional 30 slots. These 120 children couldn't have access to daily quality after-school funding without continued funding and support through the city. 2011 United Way research shows the importance of after-school programming. Students who regularly participate in out-of-school programs improve their school day attendance. Students in out-of-school programs report more positive feelings about school, increased classroom participation, and attentiveness in school. And then the After School Alliance data from 2009 also shows the importance of after-school programming. After-school programs provide benefits including helping with social skills, keeping kids safe, providing opportunities to be physically active, and helping children succeed in school. After-school programs also help children graduate from high school. There's a need for increasing the number of spaces in after-school programs. Nationally, there are 18.5 million youth who would participate in after-school programming if there were spaces available. Thank you so much for your time and your continued support of this important programming.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for your testimony, and I'm happy to learn about the growth. That's always good, and needing additional slots for young people is a good thing, and that also shows just the work that you're doing at CRC for the community. So thank you so much, and thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you.
Well, that is our final speaker for this evening. Director Johnson, do you have any further comments?
Thank you, Chair Page. No, I do not.
Thank you. Well, Director Johnson, I'd like to thank you and your staff for helping put this hearing together and for having such wonderful people come down and to provide testimony about the benefits and the need for the work that you're doing throughout our city. They all provided, again, very compelling testimony, and I will continue to be supportive and an advocate for the funding for the education department, as well as the pre-K and after-school programs that we are helping fund. I would like to thank my staff, Sherry Martin, for her work. She is just tireless and just a wonderful person. And I would like to thank Andrew Dwyer, who works in our Legislative Research Office and is assigned to the Education Policy Office as well. And to our viewing and listening audience, thank you so much. We are happy to continue to learn more about the Education Department and the work that you're doing for our 4-year-olds across the city. And thank you all for coming this evening, and that concludes our hearing.